Welcome back to Box Office Maniacs, and I am continuing my Doctor Who review for Season 11 with the 13th Doctor. So now we've come to episode 5. As far as I know, there's only 10 episodes. Someone said there was 11, but I don't think there are. Maybe there are. I thought there was only 10. So if there is only 10, that means we are halfway through the season now of Doctor Who. So we get to this episode, and at first it starts taking place on a planet of like trash. And the Doctor is messing around with some of the trash, and she accidentally opens up something, and it's like a bomb. It's sort of like a landmine. You know, there was nothing they could do, and it just basically exploded. And she wakes up on a ship. I was going to say a space station, but actually it's a ship. And it's sort of like a moving ambulance in space or something. And it's interesting. That was an interesting idea for that. Well, what happened to the TARDIS? Because the whole area exploded down there on the planet. Now she's lost her TARDIS again. Because they didn't really explain whatever happened to it, at least in this episode. Or how they're going to find it, or where it went. Or But they end up on this moving ambulance spaceship. So they find out that there's other people here on the spaceship with them. And the one guy they find there is pregnant. And his race of people get pregnant. The men get pregnant with boy babies. The women get pregnant with girl babies. And I found that was okay. That was an interesting little twist they had. And then they ended up introducing this other woman on the show. And she was some sort of, I can't remember, some sort of senator or some sort of important person. Or something like that, and then I believe that was her son was there, and she had like an android that was there with her. And then we had the two other people who were the actual doctors on the ship to take care of these people. So we had a lot of people here on this episode, but I personally think this is probably, for me anyway, the weakest episode so far of Doctor Who. I just didn't really care for any of these new characters they introduced on this episode. I mean, the pregnant guy was funny and everything, and the other characters, it was just like, okay, I could care less about them. And then all of a sudden we get introduced to the sort of the plot of the episode, and this little creature shows up on the ship, and it sort of looked like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looked like a thing from the movie Ghoulies. A little gremlin type of creature. He's supposed to be like this little kind of fat, cute little, sort of almost like Disney-like weird character. And he's going around eating all the metal in the ship. So they have that happening, and the thing's going around just eating everything in the entire ship. And of course, it's going to destroy the ship while they're out in space. And they were trying to find the little creature to stop him from eating the whole entire ship. And that was pretty much the plot of this episode. Now, coming off of two fantastic episodes, we kind of just hit a bump in the road here. I hope that's what this is. I hope it's more of a dip in the road, and then the next episode, next week, it's going to climb back up that hill, get back on top again. But there just really wasn't much to this episode. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was entertaining and everything. I thought everybody did an okay job, acting. And again, Graham and Ryan and Yaz here on this episode. And I know, I remember their names. I told you I was going to figure out their names. The Doctor's companions, they just didn't really have anything much to do. They just kind of ran around. Graham and Ryan were giving birth to the to the guy's baby. And I don't know, it just seemed like they didn't really do anything in this episode. It's sort of a throwaway Doctor Who episode. It's like, okay, we've gotten two really great episodes. Now we're just going to give you a little weird adventure in space here, and here you go, and this is what's going to happen here, and that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like a throwaway episode. And I've said this before on my other reviews. When you have so many episodes in a season, we shouldn't have throwaway episodes. We should have a solid episode for every single week. And I know that's not going to happen. Obviously, I know that's not possible to do that. But still, it shouldn't be something to where, okay, episode 5, we're in the middle of the season, and we need to have a really great episode to launch the rest of the half of the season. But I don't think we got that here. I didn't feel anything for this episode. I just felt it was kind of like, okay. Now, another thing that's been happening to me, and I really want to know from you guys if it's been happening to you or it's just us that's happening to. So we're watching BBC off of DirecTV. Now, it's been freezing on us. It's like several times during the episode, it just freezes. And it'll freeze for like 30 seconds, and we're running it forward, and then it'll come back on, but then we've missed 30 seconds of the episode. It's like, for example, when they were going after that creature and they figured out how to stop it, it froze. So then we had to run it forward, and it started playing right at that point where they got rid of the creature. So it's like, okay, what happened? And then it froze again. It froze like 3 times on us. And every single week we've watched Doctor Who, it's done this. It's froze at least once during the broadcast. Now, I called DirecTV and asked them about it, and they're like, oh, well, maybe you need to watch it again next week and see if it does it again. I said, well, it's done it 5 times now. I mean, how many more times can it have to do it? Well, we'll have to come out and replace your box. And I was like, no, I don't think it's the box, because no other program does this. Only BBC's freezing every time they broadcast this. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest there, so there you go. I'm just curious if anyone else is having that problem. So yeah, this is going to be a short review for you guys, because again, I don't have that much to say about this episode, except it was okay. Now, after this episode, what I'm actually going to do for you guys now is I've been going out and buying all the sonic screwdrivers, starting from Tom Baker's up until the new one, Jodie Whittaker. Her brand new one that I got. And I've had a few in the past. I've had Matt Smith's and I've had David Tennant's, but theirs is the only ones I've actually owned. But now I have like 5 of them. So I figured now that we have 5 episodes left, or at least I think we do, I'm going to do a little review of a sonic screwdriver after I get done with this. So hopefully when you finish this review, you'll move over to that review and watch that as well. So that's it for this episode 5 of Doctor Who. It was okay. Little funny weird creature eating metal, and guy gets pregnant. That's pretty much sums up the whole episode. So thank you for watching tonight's episode, and I will see you next week here on Box Office Maniacs with episode 6.